Well, it took me a while, but I finally played all the big 3 shooters from the past couple weeks. That is, of course, Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2, and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. So, with Black Friday coming up and Christmas, I want to help you spend your dough on yourself or your loved ones to see which is the best buy, which should I like more, and kind of compare everything relative to one another. Let's start first with Battlefield 1. Now, out of all 3, this is of course the best looking one, and it goes without saying because last year Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront, was the best looking game last year, I do believe. Stunning visuals, it's spectacular, and I actually enjoyed the campaign for once. It's actually pretty cool. It is about a couple different stories, not really interwoven at all, but just kind of like almost tutorials for, you know, the multiplayer, but there is a significant story there. There's tank levels, there's plane levels, there's one where you're helping Lawrence of Arabia, which actually reminds me a lot of Metal Gear Solid 5, all the desert missions. It just kind of made me want to play that game again, or actually just a Battlefield game where you're in the desert doing some stealth missions on these big open world maps. And that's another thing. All these maps are huge and there's multiple ways to go at them, which is kind of something that all of the maps kind of have in common with all 3 of these shooters. But while they were interesting set pieces and they were visually fun to play, there's nothing really gripping me about the same story as well. Cool, but not great. I don't know if that really makes sense, but that's just how I feel about it. Let's move on to Titanfall 2, where I kind of almost had the exact same thoughts with the campaign. It's a masterpiece in terms of high adrenaline. There's so many moments where just took my breath away, and this is about basically this world. There are these giant mechs, these titans, and you are just kind of like this grunt soldier, and then one of your commanding officers dies, and then he has his robot basically make you the pilot. So you're this rookie in this robot suit who basically sounds like Optimus Prime, but isn't exactly Optimus Prime. There's some moments where I think I would have actually liked the 2 partners kind of going back and forth with each other, but the robot is too robotic and not as quirky, and you don't talk to him except when you make dialogue choices. It's very weird. You hit up or down on the D-pad. That's how you choose what to say. But there's a lot of times where you don't say anything. So your Titan is actually the one doing a lot of the talking, and because he's not that charismatic, you don't really feel the bond. Along with that, there's a lot of weird things in terms of how the progression goes. It wasn't until about halfway through where there was actually the plot developed into something like, oh, okay, this is what we're working towards. And to talk about it here would be a huge spoiler, but about mid-game, there is one of the coolest things I've seen in a video game in a long time. And it's not like it hasn't been done before, but the way they do it is very, very good. There's also a scene where a factory is making basically environments for VR, and that's also some cool levels. There's just a lot of really good level designs, and while it may not be as visually stunning as Battlefield, I think the actual choices in terms of what you do, as well as how you get around, because you can run on the walls, the shooting feels really good. It just, everything about it is just a really, really key piece. And unlike all the other ones, I actually did play the multiplayer, and I kind of want to do it all so I could really compare all of the multiplayers as well, but I haven't really been in Call of Duty since the original Black Ops. Battlefield I've tried before, it just, that open world expanse is just not for me. But I love mechs, which is another reason why I wanted to try the game, so I decided to try out the multiplayer, and it's actually really fun as well. That's just a side note, not really a comparing as what I'm doing here, but I have played it. Now let's get into Infinite Warfare. Okay, let's just do it right now. Alright, Titanfall is the best. It's just very well rounded. Battlefield 1 is second best, and Infinite Warfare is a far third. I did not feel anything in this campaign. They try very hard for you to feel for this crew, And at first, it actually was a cool Call of Duty-like adrenaline rush type of campaign. I'm like, okay, this is very good. You start off on this weird ice planet, and then you meet Jon Snow at the end who murders you, and then you actually take the reins of the actual main character of the whole thing. He has a robot buddy named Ethan who has the personality that I wanted your Titan to have. He had some really good comebacks and he actually felt more human, but the interaction between the main character and Ethan didn't feel that charismatic as well as all the other people. There are a bunch of hoorah soldiers, which is one of the things that I don't care for in all the Call of Duty games, but I do like that adrenaline rush. But after about the first third, before you actually open up the game into what it actually is, which is kind of a cool thing for Call of Duty, is basically a battlefield map, not like Battlefield, but like a battle map, and you can go to a bunch of different planets. There's a bunch of optional missions, and there's actually main missions. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of great side campaigns in there, but nothing truly noteworthy, and the main campaigns are also not noteworthy. Because they had to make so much in the game, I think, I didn't get that huge rush that I would normally get with all the great set pieces. It was just more a lot of average to pretty good set pieces in terms of, like, you know, going through a hallway and having these really great moments. And in terms of kind of feeling like you're really a captain aboard this battleship and going to these different places, that kind of felt great, but there's also a lot of moments that kind of felt flat for me too. There's one point that towards the end where something significant happens, and then they rectify that very soon afterwards. It would have been a very good moment if the thing would have happened, but then the thing happens at the very end, and it's just like, why did you do this twice? I hated the campaign. Again, the first couple missions, like when Earth is attacked essentially, it's great, and everything before you open up the huge world map kind of thing is great, but then after that it's not that cool. I mean, everything feels tight in terms of controls, and it looks pretty good. This is another game where I didn't really get a lot from the antagonist. They really don't use Jon Snow, whose name is escaping me at this moment. Kit Harington, that's what it is, Kit Harington. He is one of the worst villains in Call of Duty in a long time, and I think the best has been Advanced Warfare. That's my last favorite Call of Duty game, and Kevin Spacey did a really good job of being the bad guy. He was there a lot. Kit Harington is there in the beginning, and then he's basically on a comm the rest of the time. Just, I don't know what the war is going on here. It's just very weird. Some of the space weapons and stuff is kind of cool, but also whatever. I do like flying in the airship or spaceship, whatever. Doing those missions felt very great. But yeah, I guess, again, rating. Battlefield 1 looks the best. Titanfall 2 has the best overall experience, especially all the mech stuff. That's pretty great. And going against pilots is really cool, like Gundam, where even the grunts are just like, I see the rookie pilot. Well, let me show you how a real pilot works. It's just very fun, and just, yeah, it's just kind of big dumb fun with Titanfall 2. Everything's great about it. There are some things about the campaign that I wish were better, especially the relationship and the antagonist and everything, but that's just video games in general, where, you know, sometimes the bad guys aren't really well defined in terms of a lot of first-person shooters. I don't think Call of Duty did anything for me besides doing the world map thing, and for any other game that would be cool, but for Call of Duty, I think it was just like a setback. And the other inclusions as well, like the zombie mode was just, I don't know, it just felt very by the numbers and not great, which is crazy because Infinity Ward used to be the top gun in terms of all the studios. And then it was Treyarch, and now to me it's Sledgehammer, who has only made the one game, Advanced Warfare, but I'm really looking forward to next year because I think it's Sledgehammer's turn. And Respawn, who used to be former members of Infinity Warfare, makes sense why the new game from them would be the best, especially with the campaign and stuff. So yeah, in terms of money, I'd say you should really go with Titanfall 2. It's going to be pretty cheap on Black Friday as well, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of deals. I already saw it for $35 earlier this week on Amazon as well, or last week, whenever this is airing. Anyway, so there you have it. That's my thoughts on the 3 big shooters for this fall. Of course, there's a lot of other great games coming out next. A couple couple of weeks here. I'm looking forward to Final Fantasy 15, The Last Guardian. Anyway, enough ranting. But how did I do? This is a little bit more podcast, off-the-cuff kind of style. Not really an article kind of thing, no script. And I think that shows. But I kind of just wanted to have my thoughts out there on those three great shooters. Great-ish shooters. Some more than others. Anyway, yeah, that's it. BT!
Got you.
Did you know that was a ReActionExaminer video? If you liked it, you should subscribe to me to keep up with everything that I'm doing. Also, if you have some other interests, like sex for example, check out Chum Ups, which is a comedy sex podcast thing wherein my best friend and I check out the weird and abnormal and the erotic. And of course, you should support me on Patreon because, hey, I want to make the channel better and I want your help to do so. Plus, if you want to check out my writing, check out Game Jerk, where I have archives and new stuff for all projects, okay? You can find all the stuff and more in the description with the links below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.